Bueno, pues trataremos de medir la condición en la que estamos. Estamos en pretemporada, hay muchos jugadores que no están trabajando con nosotros porque están aprovechando el parón después del descanso después del Mundial, y lo que queremos es dar una buena impresión, ver cómo se encajan los jóvenes valores en el primer equipo y tratar de estar en el mejor momento posible.
No, I think it's to keep going, working, good tempo, high tempo, working the way that we want to develop the shop during the whole season. I think we are going to change a little bit our system, but on the end to keep our principles.
So the views there of the Spurs boss Maurizio Pochettino. It's great to have the ex-Spurs striker Clive Allen alongside me for this game, and two teams here who like to entertain, so this should be a good game to watch.
I think it'd be a fantastic exhibition of open attacking football. Obviously both teams in their preparations for their relatively new season, young players, opportunity knocks for them with the seniors and the World Cup players still not available, so lots of excitement for these youngsters coming into a game of this magnitude.
Look here at some of the new players who've been brought in this summer by Barcelona. Clement Longley, they're the defender. Before that, Arthur, the midfield player, signed from Gremio. A bit of a rebuilding job for Barca with some of their quite experienced players who've left, the likes of Iniesta, Mascherano over the past 6-12 months or so.
Well, what boots these young potential players have to fill, and it's exactly the same for the youngsters at Spurs as well.
And here's the Spurs squad going through their paces. Fernando Llorente, an old stager amongst their youthful squad here this summer, but a player who scored a couple of the goals in that win against Roma. Likewise, this man here, Lucas Moura, and a big year ahead now for him.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. It was. I thought he was just introduced slowly into the Premier League when arriving from PSG last season. Big season ahead for him.
And maybe also for this man in defence, Cameron Carter-Vickers, now a full USA international. And if reports are to believe, and Toby Alderweireld may well be departing Spurs this summer, it could well be a big season coming up for him. Let's have a look at the schedules for these two teams at the tournament. Spurs won the first game 4-1. They play Milan in their last game in a few days' time. This is the first match for Barcelona. They also play Roma and Milan themselves in the week ahead. So it's around about 8 p.m. local time at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. It's match number 15 of 27 games in North America, Europe and Singapore in this 6th edition of this wonderful tournament. It runs until the 11th of August, each club playing the 3 games before the champions are crowned. And it's a great chance for the fans to come in and watch star names from these giant clubs from all over Europe. And on show here, in the shape of Barcelona, a team who've been crowned champions of Europe 5 times before. That's the sort of success which Spurs crave. And it's a path towards that success which Spurs are on right now. They've been building really well over the past few years under Maurizio Pochettino. Keeping hold of some of their key players is a big part of that upward trajectory. But maybe adding in some of these younger names too might be a sign of things to come for Tottenham going forward. So Barcelona up against Tottenham Hotspur, a match to savour in the 2018 International Champions Cup. And a stage for some of these players to really embrace and try to impress. Amongst them there, Andre Gomes, the Portuguese international of Barcelona, who was left out of their squad for the World Cup a few weeks ago. And a player whose future may well be in the spotlight. A number of those on show here, particularly for Barcelona. Men trying to stake their claim for more regular action this season for Ernesto Valverde, now in his 2nd year in charge of the Catalan Giants. Son there back from duty with South Korea at the back of that Tottenham line. He'd scored 2 goals at the World Cup, although South Korea went out in the group stage, albeit off the back of that very famous win over the then world champions Germany. So the usual pre-match photographs for the two teams here. Spurs side there being led tonight by the Dane, Christian Eriksen. He has the captain's armband in the absence of Hugo Lloris and also the likes of Harry Kane too, yet to return from their summer holidays after their exploits away in Russia. Sergi Roberto wears the captain's armband tonight for Barcelona. And the man in charge is Kevin Stott, in MLS referee for 20 years now, based here in California. He was also referee for the 2006 World Cup finals, which took place in Germany. Well, the bulk of this Barcelona squad is a young one. Many players have been called up from their B team, and the spine of their normal team is to the way tonight, so no Lionel Messi amongst many others. But 2 of their summer signings do start this one. Defender Clement Longley, who arrived from Sevilla, and the midfielder Arta from Gremio. He'll wear number 4. Munir El Haddadi will lead the attack. He's had a few loans away over the past few years. And on the bench, a bit more know-how in the likes of the German goalkeeper Marc-Andre ter Stegen and Alex Vidal and Paco Alcacer. A couple of more experienced names on their bench. The Spurs, match number 2 in the space of 4 days in the US for them. And they've had a couple of the players who really stole the show in that game against Roma. 2 goals for Llorente and also for Lucas Moura. They start once again here. Just 2 changes made for this game. 1 in goal with Gazzaniga coming in place of Michel Vorm. And Son playing on the right side there midfield. He's replaced Eric Lamela. Davinson Sanchez amongst those on a youthful bench there for Tottenham, back from duty with Colombia at the World Cup in Russia. So Spurs are more advanced in terms of their preparations. Their second game here, as their domestic campaign begins a week before that of Barcelona. So we'll see if these Tottenham players are more well-tuned ahead of the off of their domestic campaign. It will be Spurs who get the match underway here in their familiar white jerseys. It was 24 years ago when this was the stage for a World Cup final. Just a fortnight on from this year's final. A new campaign looming ever larger now for Barcelona and Tottenham Hotspur, in front of this large global spotlight in the International Champions Cup. A chance for some fine-tuning in this historic setting. Clive Allen watching here with me. Before the game, we heard Mauricio Pochettino say that maybe Spurs may experiment with their shape and their system. Do you see that happening tonight?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for that, but he has started with that block of 6 that he did against Roma, the back 4, with Amos and Sissoko, the 2 holding midfield players protecting that back 4. They could flick to a 3 with 2 wing-backs, obviously. Kyle Walker-Peters on the left could become a left-sided wing-back and Aurier on the right, which he's deployed Aurier in particular in the Champions League in that manner. So yes, there's got to be flexibility, and that's something in a game like this that you can experiment with.
We are around halfway through this year's International Champions Cup. And Spurs, one of the big winners from the opening round of games, hoping to make it 2 wins in a row. It's the first sighting of Barcelona, the might of Barcelona at this year's tournament.
Well, there's a lot of young faces in this Barcelona team, but you know that they're going to play in exactly the same manner that any senior, very experienced Barcelona team will play. It's all about possession-based, certainly moving the ball efficiently and quickly with movement as well.
First view for the Barca fans of the likes of Longley in their defence, and this man here, number 4, Arthur in midfield. And right back is Nelson Semedo, Portuguese international. And here he is once again. Real buzz from the fans here whenever Barca gain possession. I think the Spurs fans may be outnumbered here by Californians who are supporting the Giants from Catalonia. There's the Spurs boss, Mauricio Pochettino.
It's a really interesting predicament that Mauricio has with so many of his senior players away at the World Cup, now taking their break, won't return to the fold, and probably a week before the Premier League season starts. So opportunity knocks for many of these young players to start the season for Spurs in the Premier League.
He's not been a man too often over the past few years, Pochettino, who's been one to moan, but he has been just suggesting that the start date this year for the Premier League is a week too early, the transfer deadline ending before the campaign starts. Not too enamoured by that either.
No, exactly. I think that he knows what he's up against, and maybe not initially at the beginning of the Premier League season will it take effect, but I feel that maybe a couple of months in, with so many of his players having been through the summer, deep into the World Cup, that they may feel the effects of that.
It's England and Belgian players who reached semi-finals, and the man who raised the World Cup trophy aloft, Hugo Lloris, the Spurs captain too.
Yeah, I think it was some 9 or 10 of Maurizio's frontliners that were there right at the end of the World Cup this summer.
It's Semedo for Barcelona, who are equally short of many of their star names. Sergio Roberto. Where's number 20? There's Arthur. Now Andre Gomez, Longley. Left back, one of the young guns, Juan Miranda, who's just 18. This is Denis Suarez. Good defending by Aurier.
Yeah, good strength from Aurier, winning the ball and keeping it for his team.
Here's Lucas Moura. Lovely close control by him. And then losing out though. With a big pre-season behind him. Should be a good foundation now for Lucas Moura to really show what he can do in the coming 9 months or so.
Yeah, he'll be looking to force his way into the team on a more regular basis. It was spasmodic, his appearances. I think that was planned by Mauricio Pochettino just to ease him into the Premier League fray.
He was a player who lost his place playing for Paris Saint-Germain after they signed the likes of Mbappe and Neymar.
Yeah, that was quite a squad he was competing in.
There's the man in charge of Barca now for a second campaign, Ernesto Valverde, double winner in his first year in charge. Now replaced Luis Enrique. And now in charge of the Spain national team for their chaotic summer.
But what a job he has, trying to replace, as you were saying, some of those playing Iniesta, players of unbelievable quality. To find players of that ability so difficult to do, and to bring them into your team and carry on being successful as well.
And the changing of the guard going on gradually for Barcelona. Gained some youthfulness this summer. Maybe lost a wee bit of experience. A nice bit of skill once again from Lucas Moura.
Yeah, pace and trickery from Lucas Moura. Real confidence when in possession of the ball.
As I mentioned, he scored 2 goals in that 4-1 win against Rome in San Diego on Wednesday. It was a game where Spurs actually were a goal down inside 3 minutes, but bounced back with 4 before half-time.
Yeah, there was almost shocked into action in that particular game, but responded really well, scoring 4 before the break.
Well, that's a poor pass there. Barca could be in here. And that's the first big chance of the game for them. It was Munir, who did have options there to his left-hand side, went for goal himself and might have made more of that, Clive.
Yeah, really sloppy pass from Cole Walker-Peters, playing the ball square straight to Munir's feet. I just thought that he almost had too much time. He was trying to weigh it up. Possibly a slight bobble as he struck the ball, but a let off for Spurs there.
The foul on Son, who is a player who Spurs are going to be without at the start of the campaign. He's set to be in the South Korean squad for the Asian Games coming up in Indonesia. A robust challenge there from Andre Gomez.
Yeah, high right wrist catching Song in the face. I thought Song was Spurs' most consistent player last season, outstanding. Yes, Harry Kane returned the goals, but Song was a valuable part of the success that Tottenham had.
He's always been called an underrated player, but I think that changed last year, didn't it? I think people started to realise actually how good he is.
Yeah, the value that he brought to the team. Certainly his pace was always a threat.
He's on the dart again up against Semedo. Typical Song. So industrious, but Semedo has come away with it. Here's Arthur.
By the right back, the full-back Semedo does really well there because hurried by Song.
The ball back to the goalkeeper, Jasper Cederson, but Barcelona there, as they often do, play their way out of danger superbly.
Yeah, real pressure from Spurs, but such confidence from Barcelona. Great possession play out from a dangerous area.
They're still going. This will be some goal if they can get on the end of this. It is Andre Gomez. Carter Vickers, an excellent tackle.
Really good tempo to the start of the game.
Yeah, first game this of the pre-season for Barcelona. Spurs had a couple of games back in the UK before they came out to the US.
This is Carter Vickers' tackle. It has to be strong, committed. Comes out with the ball cleanly.
Here's Longley, signed for a fee of around about 35 million euros from Sevilla. He's a highly rated defender. I doubt he'll be a regular in the first team when the likes of Piqué come back. It's very much a squad game these days. Denis Suarez. Longley, one of the other youngsters in the team, the number 5, Marlon, who spent last season playing in French football with Nice. He's 22 years of age. Now Miranda, called up from the Barcelona B team. He's yet to make his senior competitive debut. Important intervention there by Carter Vickers, with Munir lurking behind him.
Yeah, he's tried to run in behind Vickers. Spurs keeping a high line and good interception. He started well as Carter Vickers.
Yeah, how good could he be, Clive? He's had a few loans playing in some of the lower leagues of English football. Maybe a chance this year to stay with the Spurs first team squad.
Well, I think there's certainly that possibility. Obviously, there's so much speculation about Alderweireld and whether he will remain, whether he'll be sold before the start of the season.
And there's no flag here. There might be now. Then Munir went in. Oh, Denis Suarez there too. High defensive line by Tottenham, and they were exposed there.
Yeah, they got caught on this occasion. And Suarez and Munir, I think, in the end, Munir thinks that he might well have been offside because of this touch there. He then leaves the ball, which is clever play. But Suarez can't capitalise on it. There's 2 shooting opportunities from the edge of the box from Barcelona, which they've passed up.
They've been the brighter team going forward so far. We get to see Fernando Llorente get in the action for Tottenham. Walker Peters playing at left back with a throw. He's a player the Spurs fans really enjoyed watching in a couple of games last season. He was man of the match in the first game of the campaign in the league away at Newcastle.
Yeah, he had an outstanding debut. Young man, full of confidence, will get forward at every opportunity down that left-hand side. Song playing in front of him will come off the line, allowing the space for Kyle Walker-Peters to get forward.
Really difficult for him though when you think of Spurs front-line fullbacks. They have 4, 2 either side, who are top quality players, so it's a tough ask for him to get in the team again this year.
Yeah, Danny Rose, Ben Davies was playing on the left side of the central defensive position today, but obviously is a left back normally, so fierce competition and always difficult to break into a team when you have so many in front of you.
And Sergio Roberto, captain for the night for Barcelona. Arthur. Now it's Semedo. The second choice at right back for much of last season for Barcelona, behind Sergio Roberto. Signed from Benfica last summer.
This is where it's a real test for Spurs, and in particular the youngsters, that they can go for long periods without touching the ball, because of wherever they are on the field. Barcelona, they'll look to keep possession. They're not going to play too many long or penetrative balls. They're going to build up from deep positions, keeping possession. A lot of chasing to be done from Spurs this evening.
Lovely switch of play there to find Rafinha, whose pass towards Munir was cut out. There's Eriksson, Davies. As I mentioned, playing as a left-sided centre-half tonight, the Welshman. Llorente for Son, now Sissoko. Might be a player, Sissoko, playing for his long-term future with Spurs. There has been some talk that maybe he may be one of those who might be moved on this summer.
I think, to his credit, his opportunities were limited last season in the Premier League, but when he did come in, he showed a level of performance without starting consistently. You do need squad players like that you know can come in, you can rely on to perform at a high level.
It was a busy old campaign last year for Spurs. Finished in third place in the Premier League. Reached the FA Cup semi-finals, the Champions League knockout stage, of course. Did wonderfully well to get through a tough group before they went down against Juventus over 2 legs. Of course, a momentous few weeks coming up for them with the move to their brand new stadium.
Yeah, it's really exciting times, Joe, but one in which I think they would love to put some silverware in the cupboard at the end of this coming season. That has to be the next step on the ladder.
That's a lovely ball in there towards Rafinha and Munir. It's a well-worked goal for Barcelona. But it has been coming. They've been on top. And some fine football there has brought about the breakthrough, and it's Munir El Haddadi who puts Barca a goal in front in California.
He had an earlier chance, a shot from the edge of the box, which he couldn't take. He skied that, but on this occasion, Barcelona worked the ball into the 18-yard box with real quality. From the throw-in possession, the diagonal ball to the back post, and then the awareness, just a nod down to Munir to head in from 2 yards. The Spurs defence not marking, caught out. Real quality goal for Barcelona.
Inside a quarter of an hour, champions of Spain hit the front. And Munir, who spent the past 2 years away on loan at Valencia, and then last year playing with Alaves, will be a big part player in truth with Barcelona's first team setup. But he was there with the poacher's finish at the end of that lovely bit of football, involving Sergio Roberto and then Rafinha. And Spurs once again find themselves behind in this International Champions Cup.
Well, people sometimes say it's easy to score goals like that, but you have to get into the position. But the quality of the ball, Roberto's diagonal, and then Rafinha's awareness, he can't score from the tight angle, nods it back across the open goal for Munir to arrive and head in. Superb start from Barcelona.
We'll see now if Spurs can show their powers of recovery again tonight, as they did on Wednesday in San Diego against Roma. A little bit subdued so far.
Sometimes it's always difficult to get going, Joe, when you don't have the ball. You're chasing, you're working hard to retrieve the ball. When you have it, if you give it away cheaply or needlessly, it can be really, really frustrating.
As Aurier's balled in, the deflection came the way of Llorente. Aurier with a good cross. Nearly came the way of Lucas Moura. It was touched away by Semedo. Carter Vickers goes back to Ben Davies. Paolo Gazzaniga, the man in goal for Spurs this evening. Michel Vorm was the starter in their opening game here. Hugo Lloris, of course, will be the main goalkeeper when the campaign gets going for real. As long as they keep him, there has been some talk of him being linked with a move away. That's what Spurs have done so well over the past few years. Tie down their big players and new contracts. There have been 5 this summer given new deals.
Yeah, it's all part of the plan going forward, the long-term plan of keeping the nucleus of a young, talented squad together.
Good football again here by Barcelona. Andre Gomez back for Denis Suarez. I should also mention the new contract given to the coach this year as well, Mauricio Pochettino, a new 5-year deal for him. Longley. Here's Miranda. It's like maybe an injury been sustained there by, I think it's Denis Suarez, who's just hobbled off. Barcelona may be forced into their first change here inside the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, didn't actually see what happened to him, Joe, but he's left the field of play. Barcelona down to 10 men at the moment.
Nearly given away there by Rafinha, won it back pretty swiftly. Playing with 10 men won't be a big hindrance to a team like Barcelona, but they will have a chance to make that change now. Here's the man whose goal separates these two sides, Munir.
And you just see that he gets the run on Carter Vickers, who just for a second switches off. He follows the diagonal ball to the back post. And Munir quickly attacks the space that is left and gets into a position for Rafinha just to nod the ball back into his path. Really well crafted goal.
Just about kept onside, Munir. Lucas just behind Llorente, nearly came then for Som.
Comes off Semedo at the back. He's done a good job in that right back position, covering at the back post. This time ricochets off of him for Spurs corner.
The first set-piece test is for Barcelona.
I do think Spurs have a threat, have an advantage, an aerial advantage here. If you want someone to deliver, Eriksen is your man.
Eriksen's outswinger played with pace. It was towards Carter Vickers. Here's Lucas. One back by Rafinha, and the break might be on there for Barcelona. Here's Arthur. Support to his right. This is Semedo. Good strong play by him. It was good defending though by Carter Vickers. The last touch off Semedo to goal kick.
Yeah, brilliant from Carter Vickers, because the counter-attack was on. 4v3 for Barcelona. Semedo joining the attack again. One-on-one with Carter Vickers. That's excellent defending.
It doesn't appear as though it's going to be a change in system from Barcelona, with the change forced upon them with Denis Suarez having gone off. By the looks of things, they're still yet to make the change to get back to 11 men once again. Here's Aurier. It's come out to Son, who controlled it well. Looking for Llorente. There's Marlon with the header. And here is that change then. It's taken a while. The alteration, we'll see Carlos Perez coming off the bench wearing number 11. He's just 20. One of those players brought up for the Barcelona B squad.
So it looks as if Suarez had picked up some sort of hamstring injury to the back of the left thigh.
So not the sort of start that Barcelona would have wanted in that sense, but they are a goal up. They've had to make their first change. A reminder that 11 changes can be made by both teams in this International Champions Cup. So we will see plenty of shuffling of the two packs as the game goes on.
I thought it was interesting the other night that Manchester United, Jose Mourinho played with the starting 11 as long as he could before making substitutes, a different sort of type of approach, getting minutes under the belt. Obviously Mauricio Pochettino, that block of six, a defensive six that he has starting tonight, you just wonder how long they will play. Again, giving them the conditioning needed for the start of the Premier League season.
Well, they just brought on Carlos Perez there, Barcelona, but they're actually still playing with 10 men because there's an injury now been sustained by the Portuguese Andre Gomes. So that's two of their midfield players in trouble. Denis Suarez has been taken off. We'll wait and see whether Andre Gomes can return himself, but again they're playing a man short. In some ways a useful exercise for them. But
absolutely, yeah, it is, but it's not something you want at this stage of the season. Especially if those players have picked up injuries. As a player, Joe, picking up an injury in pre-season is so frustrating because you never actually make that up. There he is. Yeah. Again, he's looking as if he's picked up some sort of strain to the back of his left thigh.
I suppose mentally, from a player's point of view, how much do you want to get yourself up to full speed, but also with, as you say, the back of your mind, not wanting to cause yourself any injuries or any long-term damage.
Absolutely, it is all about getting those minutes in, getting the work done, getting yourself on the start line for the start of the season.
Tottenham season, which starts away at Newcastle in 2 weeks' time now. It's come around very fast this year. As for Barcelona, they have a Super Cup in Spain to play against Sevilla before their league campaign begins against Alaves at the Camp Nou. Here's Rafinha. Semedo could be in here. It's a good save that by Gazzaniga. Plenty of power behind that shot from Semedo.
He's joined the attack so often already in this opening 25 minutes as Semedo, and this time tries to beat Gazzaniga at that near post. Fierce shot, well parried wide.
So here is the change then, and Riqui Puig is the player who comes off the bench for Barcelona. He's just 18, seen as one of the biggest talents in their famous academy. Here's the corner in towards Marbon. It's away by Luke Amos for Tottenham. There's Puig's first involvement. Lucas with the header. Sissoko. He was Tottenham's record buy when he was brought in from Newcastle, £30 million a couple of years back. Davinson Sanchez now is their record signing. Signed from Ajax last year. He's on the bench for them here tonight.
And he had a fantastic first season, I have to say. I think because of the situation with Alderweireld, maybe played more games than perhaps was expected at the start last season, but when he did, he acquitted himself so well. Maybe one of the reasons that Spurs are considering taking money for Alderweireld before he goes out of contract at the end of next season.
Here's Lucas. And Miranda. Puig. Marbon. Now Longley. He's 23, he's yet to win his first senior cap for France. Very difficult squad to break into. It's World Cup winners, and they left behind so many wonderful players who couldn't force their way to that 23-man World Cup squad. Semedo, great cushion touch from him. Rafinha, Semedo again. That's some game so far. That's a very good block.
Again across to make a really good block, but Semedo has been fantastic getting forward on that right side.
And a free kick won by Arthur. He's been brilliant so far, Nelson Semedo. Also a player who missed out playing at the World Cup. He has been capped by Portugal, but not in their final 23. Miranda. It's a good switch of play. Out to Rafinha. Cross goes Walker-Peters. This is Arthur. Good effort. Oh, it's a wonderful goal. Something superb there from Arthur. The new boy from Brazil, 21 years of age. And the fans here perhaps seeing a future star. A magnificent goal, and it's 2-0 Barcelona.
Well, what a way to introduce yourself to your new supporters. That was a goal of the highest quality. The first one was well crafted. Again, the big switch from left to right. Rafinha this time just cuts back on his favoured left foot and then rolls it beautifully to Arthur. He has time to take a touch, but when he takes that touch, he sets himself up for the finish, and the finish is exquisite. Away to the right-hand corner, giving the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. Two superb goals from Barcelona. Real test now for Spurs.
Absolutely sublime from Arthur. He signed a 6-year deal with Barca for a fee around about 30 million euros. It was a deal which was announced back in March. This is his first outing in that famous jersey. And what a way to mark it.
And they have deserved it, Joe. You've got to say the way they've controlled possession, the way they've crafted the two goals. They've lost two players through injury. It's almost seamless the way that they just introduce two substitutes. It doesn't change anything in terms of the way that they play. This is where Mauricio Pochettino will learn a lot about his young players that are out there for him this evening as well.
One of the best goals we've seen at this tournament so far this summer. Before the half-hour mark, a buffer of a 2-goal lead now for Barcelona. And their fans really enjoying what they're witnessing inside the Rose Bowl tonight. Point any finger of blame towards Walker-Peters, who's maybe a bit slow to push out to Rafinha when that switch of play was on.
Yeah, I think what Rafinha does really well is that he's clever cutting back on his favoured left foot, but then having the awareness just to roll that ball beautifully back to Arthur, who finishes it sublimely, as you said. But yeah, it's been a big test. Semedo's got forward at every opportunity. You see it here, he takes that touch, almost spots the ball, but then the finish is absolutely perfect. Wonderful strike.
A slight thought the chance might have gone when he took that first touch, but the way he set himself absolutely perfectly.
Well, he just had that, he had that awareness that he had the time to take the touch, to set himself up, and he certainly took it to great effect.
There was a foul there on Walker-Peters by Rafinha, so a chance now for the free kick for Tottenham to try and halve this deficit.
Well, Joe, they need something. One, they need possession of the ball. They need to try to take the sting away from Barcelona. Silason's been really untroubled in that Barcelona goal. Eriksen now with an opportunity, maybe just to test him.
Well, we all know about the set-piece prowess of Eriksen over his years with Tottenham. Can he produce something here? Eriksen's effort, it was a good one too. It required saving.
Well, it was the right side for the goalkeeper, a good height for him, and he made sure parrying it clear.
First save that's been forced upon Jasper Siversen. Here's Llorente. Now Lucas. It's going to come back for Amos. All the way back with Ben Davies. Serge Aurier. Oh, he's done well. Aurier goes on. And he had 4 players there waiting for a ball in. But it was picked off by Siversen. Now he has to get back pretty smartly, Aurier, because down this left-hand side, there's a chance of Barcelona to try and get some men forward. Sissoko there is now pulled up.
He's pulled up with a hamstring injury there. He's getting back to cover Aurier, who's left upfield. But just as he comes out to step out to close down, he pulls up immediately. That could well be another hamstring injury. Just maybe fatigue at this time of the season with the physical work that the players are doing. Not quite ready for the explosive movements in games, and he pulled up immediately.
This is not what Spurs fans, or indeed Maurizio Pochettino, will be wanting to see.
You see Llorente and Aurier in discussion there. I think that's off the back of Aurier's cross to the goalkeeper. Llorente saying, I'm in a position at the back post, you need to find me there. Eriksen's free kick, which is on target, which tests Siversen for the first time this evening, but a comfortable save for the Barcelona keeper. Aurier did so well to get into that crossing position. That's where it's so frustrating if you're a forward player. You get into a situation where you want to cross to attack, he puts it into the hands of the goalkeeper.
So the change then, we'll see. No chances taken, rightly so, by Spurs, and Sissoko going off and being replaced by Georges-Kevin Nkoudou, French winger, who is back with Spurs again now, having been at Burnley on loan for the second half of last season. Just hope that injury for Sissoko is not as long-term as it could possibly be. It could be a matter of weeks, maybe a month or so, if it is that hamstring.
Yeah, you don't want any period of time out at all. At this time of the season, it's so vital to get that preparation under your belt. Sitting out through injury, sometimes you never make that up as long as the season goes on.
So a funny old first half here in many ways. We've seen 2 goals for Barca, one of them absolutely outstanding, but 3 players forced off due to injuries. The perils of pre-season.
Absolutely. But we've also seen glimpses of the highest quality from Barcelona, in particular the way that they crafted the 2 goals.
There's Nkoudou to battle for the first time. Oh, lovely bit of skill by Rafinha. Caught the foul of Eriksen.
He's had a good first half as well, assisting for both the goals. A naturally left-sided player playing on the right. Certainly asked a lot of questions of Kyle Walker-Peters, the young Spurs left back.
They've been champions of Spain in 3 of the past 4 years, Barcelona. They won the title at a canter last season, a long way ahead of Atletico and Real Madrid. Bow out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, though, off the back of that collapse against Roma, that remarkable second leg at the Olympico.
We heard Maurizio Pochettino talking about maybe a change of system. Possibly he could introduce Davinson Sanchez as a 3 defensive system. Two wing-backs pushing Kyle Walker-Peters and Aurier further up in their second half to put more bodies into that midfield area, which undoubtedly Barcelona have dominated.
The system they used a few times last year, wasn't it, when Dyer would drop back into a back three. Eriksson. Ricochet didn't quite come the way of Nkudu. Semedo was there for Barcelona.
Nkudu's gone out to that left-hand side, not only as a left-sided player, but also, I think, just to try to thwart the threat of Semedo, who's got forward at every opportunity. It's going to be a good contest now to see whether Nkudu can keep Semedo back or whether Semedo is still going to charge forward and ask questions of Nkudu defensively.
Carter Vickers. He's been capped 3 times now by the USA national team. It's a lovely ball there to Nkudu. That tussle. Oh, that's a strong tackle by Rafinha. There was a cry of pain there by Nkudu, but he bounced up straight away.
Yeah, it was a strong challenge from Rafinha, but well timed.
It's going to be a Spurs corner. It's a quick one from Eriksson, trying to catch Barca out. That's Son. Played in, but into a pretty tame area. Citizen was there, and he's dispatched it quickly. Almost a wonderful pass. Gazzaniga came out. There could be a shot on there for Harvey, you know.
I wondered if he was going to take it on. You're right, Joe. As it rolled to him, it looked as if it was inviting him to strike it back into the open goal.
And he can strike a ball. We saw that, what, 25 minutes or so ago. Nearly a magnificent pass, wasn't it, from Citizen to set Barca away. But here's Nkudu now, in towards Llorente. It was a ball which was crying out to be attacked. There's Llorente again. Oh, that's a mistake. And here is a chance now for Rafinha. Well, Carter Vickers, not for the first time, showing terrific recovery pace there for Spurs.
Yeah, that's the third time defensively he's been exemplary as Carter Vickers.
Well, he's just 20, Cameron and Carter Vickers. Born in Southend. His father was a former NBA player.
Well, he's made a couple of good tackles, certainly 2 really good interceptions. Defended one-on-one against Semedo.
He's played 4 senior games for Spurs in competitive games, all in cup matches. He looks to be the part, doesn't he? Sergio Roberto. Here's Longley. Spread wide by Puig. Rafinha. Himself is back from a loan spell. He was with Inter in the second half of last season. Longley. Miranda.
Great management of the game for Barcelona. 2-0 up. They know the half-time break's coming. Frustrating Spurs, trying to just draw them out.
Longley. There's that pass again. It's been a regular weapon. And Rafinha has done really well to bring it down. Up against Walker-Peters. It's come off Davies. Aurier with the header. And Spurs escape there. Here's Son.
They really have used that diagonal well in crafting the 2 goals. Almost drawing Spurs to the right side of the field, switching play from left to right quickly to Rafinha. He finds himself in a lot of space on that right-hand side, and he's been, well, destructive there with the header for the first goal and the lay-back for the second.
Special venue this for Rafinha. His father, Mazzino, was a World Cup winner here with Brazil in '94. That shootout against the Italians. Roberto Baggio missed that decisive spot kick to see Brazil win the title.
Was that the World Cup final when Diana Ross missed it?
That was the opening ceremony, wasn't it, for the same World Cup? One of the more bizarre World Cup moments down the years.
It's amazing the things you remember. Yeah, he's had a good first half, he really has.
Quite some football family, actually. His older brother is Thiago, former Barca player now at Bayern Munich. International with Spain. Here's Eriksson. And Kudu for Spurs. And the Llorente in the box. Son arriving now as well. We're back with Ben Davies. Expected to have just 1 minute of the first half additional time. Amos. Singled out for praise by Pochettino for his performance against Roma, but he's not really been able to assert himself in this game tonight.
Well, he's not had the opportunity to get on the ball as much as he would like.
Nice touch there by Llorente. Here's Son, looking for Eriksson. It was an intricate pass and didn't quite come off there for Spurs.
Yeah, they just haven't found that quality in the final third that certainly they possess. Final passes have been pretty poor by their standards.
So we are now into added time. See a foul there on Juan Miranda, joined from Real Betis 4 years ago. Regular member of the Barcelona B team. A B team which was relegated last year from the second tier in Spain. Many of those players were performing in the UEFA Youth League, which was won by Barca last year. It's an absolute conveyor belt of talent, that La Masia Academy.
Well, you have to buy into the Barcelona way. You have to be of incredible talent and ability to even have the opportunity, but I think then you have to have a superb mentality to take on the challenge of trying to get into this team.
Well, that's half-time then at the Rose Bowl in California, and a quite wonderful first half for Barcelona, capped by that man's goal. Arthur, an outstanding strike on his first appearance in the famous jersey of Barca. That was the second goal after Munir had scored the first after a quarter of an hour. It's been a first half too where we've seen several players forced off due to injuries, but in terms of the scoreline, it's a convincing lead here at the break for the Giants from Catalonia. The half-time is imminent between Barcelona and Spurs. That's the half-time scoreline. Barca 2 up. El Haddadi with the opening goal, and it was added to in quite exquisite fashion by Arthur. So it's a long way back now for Spurs in terms of their efforts on goal. They were few and far between. 2 shots only one on target. The free kick from Christian Eriksen. 9 attempts on goal for Barcelona, who are 2-up, but on the balance of play, perhaps deserve to have an even healthier half-time advantage. And we expect now we'll have a whole host of changes for both teams as the rest of the game pans out. Don't forget, though, there were those injuries in the first half sustained by players of both sides. Barca lost 2 of their midfield 3. Denis Suarez and Andre Gomez forced off with injuries. And also Spurs with Moussa Sissoko going off with what appeared to be a hamstring problem for him. See a couple of players there look to be imminent coming off the bench for Spurs. Davinson Sanchez amongst them. Oliver Skip, perhaps the young midfield player too. We'll confirm all that for you as soon as we can. But in terms of the Spurs game plan now, second half, Clive Allen, it's a long way back. How do they start that road back?
Well, I think Mauricio Pochettino will want them really to start very intense pressure. I think, as we discussed in the first half, maybe a tactical change in that they'll have 3 central defenders, push the wing-backs forward to try to make more bodies in that midfield area, an area which they have to try to take control of, which Barcelona dominated in that first half.
So double change then for Spurs. 2 players coming on, one well-known, one less so. Davinson Sanchez, the Colombian, had that wonderful first campaign with Spurs last year. Oliver Skip, a midfield player who is 17, came off the bench in the match against Roma 2. Defensive midfield player by nature. England under-18 international, can also play in defence, but we'll see where he lines up now in the second half for Spurs tonight.
I think he'll go into the central position, midfield. He's one who likes to get on the ball, likes to orchestrate things from that central midfield position.
Another change there, Fernando Llorente departing, we're told, and being replaced by another of the young guns, Anthony Giorgi. There is Skip, big chance for him now, and what an opposition to play against in the shape of Barcelona. And some of those midfield players who really ran the first half. It's going to be a tall order for him to impose himself on the game, but that will be his intention in the second period. Spurs player sent out good and early by Mauricio Pochettino. Beautiful evening in California, the end of a hot day. It's a busy old few days these for Spurs. They were in San Diego on Wednesday for their first match against Roma. They're off to Minneapolis for their last game here on Tuesday against Milan. Still no sign just yet of the Barcelona team, who are a bit late now in their re-emergence for the second half. And the Barca fans who are packed in here and vastly outnumbering the Spurs contingent inside the stadium. I think we'll be pretty pleased to see the depth they have in their squad. We mentioned earlier the likes of Messi and Luis Suarez are a long, long way off being in the team right now. Some of these players showing what they can do. Absolutely, and I think they'll be excited by what they see. You love to see homegrown talent emerging. Certainly in the Barcelona ranks, we've seen some stars of the future this evening. And a reminder here, the 2 goals we saw in the first half, Munir with the first, and this one here, an absolute piece of magic from Arthur. It's a role they have to fill now in midfield, with Andres Iniesta having departed after so many years of outstanding service. Arthur maybe could be the man to fill those sizable boots. He's just 21. They've signed 3 players so far this summer, Barcelona, and we've seen 2 of them in the first half here, Arthur and Clement Lenglet. The other one, Malcolm, the winger who was signed from Bordeaux earlier on in the week. Quite a bizarre transfer, isn't it? Yeah. It seemed he was going to Roma, then just 24 hours later popped up as a Barcelona player. And he could make his first appearance for Barca against Roma in their last game here, which takes place on Tuesday in Arlington, which would be quite a subplot. Roma would be very happy about that, I'm sure.
lot to consider from Mauricio Pochettino. He will realise, obviously, the quality that he's come up against tonight. And looking at his younger players in particular to see how they can cope against opposition of this magnitude.
I think he's wondering, like the rest of us, just where Barcelona have gone to. I hope they're aware it's a 90-minute friendly match, this. Not just a 45, because they're nowhere to be seen right now. Ernesto Valverde's side.
Perhaps they think it's a longer break at half-time than it actually is.
You saw Pochettino there alongside his trusted colleagues Jesus Perez and Miguel D'Agostino. It's a good brain trust that. There they are, thankfully. They are going to re-emerge pretty soon, the Barcelona team. But they've done wonders, that coaching setup under Pochettino, to really change the atmosphere of Spurs over the past few years and develop players and make players better.
Yeah, and certainly they've worked very hard on the approach, the attitude of players, the professionalism that they feel is needed to take the club forward.
So here they come then, Barcelona's team for the second half, and it will be quite a different team for the second half by the looks of things. Several changes because they're going to take place here from Ernesto Valverde. And amongst them, those coming on, one of the summer signings perhaps. We will just wait and see exactly who they're going to shuffle here and bring off the bench for the second period. But it's the customary thing now, all change for the second half. Although Spurs going with a pretty similar team to the one which played in that first period, just the couple of the half-time changes for them. So away we go once again. And amongst those half-time changes for Barca, as we saw there, Malcolm coming off the bench. A first chance to see him for the Barca fans. Can they add now to this 2-goal lead they enjoy in their first game of this year's International Champions Cup? Or can Tottenham mount a comeback? It would appear unlikely, but you never know. But they came from 1 down to score 4 against Roma in the first game. But Barcelona on this form, a different proposition.
You just hope it doesn't affect the flow of the game. Certainly the way that Barcelona attacked it in the early period and the quality they showed.
Here's Ben Davies for Spurs. Laid back by a skip to Davinson Sanchez.
Spurs still playing with a back four. Davies has gone to left back, replacing Cole Peters. With Sanchez coming into the heart, the defence alongside Carter Vickers.
Here's Davies. You see their confirmation of those changes made by Barcelona at the half-time interval. Many of those players coming off the bench are players who've been brought in from the B squad. So lots of new names, and amongst them the number 26 there, Malcolm. Signed for big money from Bordeaux, as you mentioned, Clive, from under the nose of Roma. We'll see what he can produce here. He's quick, and here he is straight away, trying to get in behind him, Carter Vickers, but tough man to get past. Sergio Palencia, number 25 there for Barca, the captain of their B team.
Yeah, he's replaced Semedo, the right back, who had an outstanding first half.
So 8 changes in total at the break from Ernesto Valverde, to add 2 in the first half, which were forced upon him due to injuries. So they really are utilising the whole depth of their squad here tonight. There's a nice touch there by Puig, one of those first half substitutes. Malcolm Malcolm. It's Palencia. 27 here is Alex Collado. Joined the club when he was just 10 years of age, born in Barcelona. Here he is again. Love the low centre of gravity, which is so typical of the players who come through the La Masia Academy. Malcolm's ball forward there. Good bit of covering work by Skip for Spurs, but it will be a corner for Valverde's side.
Yeah, just sensed the threat, got himself back in between the two centre-halves to intercept. I think he'll be delighted with the first half performances of his team. He's seen enough from one or two of the youngsters and perhaps one or two of the seniors who are on the fringe for the coming season.
It's Malcolm's corner. A bit of a miscued effort there by Jorge Cuenca, number 3. Centre-back, another young man, just 18. This is Oscar Mingueza, number 23. He's 19 years of age. It's pretty much a youth team out there now for Barca. But they're going to play the Barca way, there's no doubt about that. It's been drilled into them from a very young age.
Yeah, exactly the same shape, exactly the same principles they have to adhere to. Pass, move. Technically very, very sound players.
Now Sanchez has to be careful there. The bounce is awkward too for Gazzaniga. He played one league game in his first campaign with Spurs last year, but he played well. It was a 1-0 win against Crystal Palace at Wembley, when both Lloris and Vorm were missing due to injuries. Player who followed Maurizio Pochettino from Southampton to Spurs. Here's Cuenca, now Mingueza. To try and play their way out from the back here, Barcelona, but they've given it away there. This is Amos on the charge, and he's been fouled. Free kick. And it's a free kick, you would think, just about in Eriksson range again.
Cucurella's just really charging into the back of young Amos. Good situation for Spurs at the beginning of this second half.
Well, Eriksson has placed the ball with purpose. It's, what, a good 30-odd yards out this. A 4-man defensive wall for Barcelona. Eriksson's free kick. Oh, it came off the post. Very unlucky. And then the rebound came the way of Serge Aurier. But Eriksson there nearly pulled one back.
Yeah, just inches in it. Eriksson trying to wind that ball inside that upright. Had Citizen beaten, thunders back off the upright. Aurier couldn't take advantage of the opportunity.
Here's Son. Aurier again. Strong play there by Aurier. It's taken up by Son. All the way back now with Carter Vickers. Here's the free kick once again, Clive.
And he winds it round that ball. You can see the keeper beaten. Just trying to ease it inside that upright. Just a fraction away from being successful. Christian Eriksen.
Manu helped Denmark reach the knockout stage of the World Cup. They went out in the end against Croatia on penalties. 5th year in charge now, Spurs, so Pochettino led the club to 3 successive seasons of Champions League football for the first time ever. Proved to be a fine appointment since he arrived from Southampton back in 2014. Taking Spurs to that next level, though, now is the big challenge which lies before him. Citizen there being pressurised, but so much confidence on the ball from all of those playing for Barca, even the goalkeeper. That's a brilliant touch there to get away from Skip. Now then, Malcolm for Barcelona. There was a push there, I think, off the ball by Malcolm, which went unspotted in the end. It's a free kick for Spurs.
Yeah, he was going for the return pass, and Carter-Vickers, he just got a run on him into the 18-yard box, just shoved by Carter-Vickers. He got away with that on that occasion.
Here's Aurier. Sanchez. Bit of space here for Eriksson. He's allowed to turn. Can he pick a pass now? Lucas Moura. This is Son. It's a good block by Cucurella. Davis. It's more familiar left-back position now. Spot he made his own last year. Really usurped Danny Rose as Spurs' first choice in that position. Tough year, wasn't it, for Rose, for many, many reasons, but I wonder if he's back to full fitness again, just how that will pan out at left-back this season for Spurs. Malcolm, back to Cucurella. There's a player who was brought in from Espanyol in 2012. Actually played one game for the senior side last year, the Copa del Rey, back in March. Son there has won a corner off Jorge Cuenca. More threat here back Tottenham after half-time. Son to Skip. Now Eriksson. It's a low ball, but pretty comfortably dealt with.
Well, a lot of reshuffling, certainly for Barcelona, with the number of changes that they've made, just trying to find their shape at the moment. Mauricio Pochettino going with an experienced front line now. Moura coming more central, Son on the right, Kudo on the left, Eriksson just behind Moura.
Sanchez. Davis. Good run there. Eriksson. Been very bright in the second half so far. Lucas Moura nearly came in the way of Aurier. Here's Carter-Vickers. Now Skip. Sanchez. We are actually one centre-half down, Spurs, on this trip. Juan Foyth returned home earlier in the week due to injury. Calls for Tongan and Alderweireld still on their holidays. Eric Dyer too. Minguez's ball forward. Sanchez with the header. Here's Amos. Went to ground, the referee there playing the advantage with Spurs in possession still.
Well, I think Spurs are settled better at the beginning of this second half. Got more bodies higher up the field. Not allowed Barcelona to dominate possession in the way that they did in that first period.
Interesting that Spurs are one of only 2 teams in the Premier League who are still yet to sign a player in this summer transfer window so far, the others being Burnley. Do you foresee much activity coming up from Spurs, or will they be happy with the squad they have?
Well, I think obviously Lucas Moura in his 2nd season, Lamela coming back from a long-term injury last season. It's almost like having 2 new players, but I'm sure that they've identified players that they want, and historically Chairman Daniel Levy leaves it late. I think on the evidence of tonight, seeing what he's seen, he will want to add to this squad, there's no doubt. He won't want to be losing players, that's for sure.
It's a bar which has been raised ever higher by the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool, who spent big this summer. It's going to be a tough ask for Spurs to maintain a top 4 place, but I suppose the hope is that eventually they'll push on beyond that and try and push for the title. It might not be this year, but that's still going to be the long-term goal.
It has to be the aim, yes.
Ericsson, cute pass by him to Son. Good feet by him. Son with a shot. It's a good move there. He's just pulled up there, Son.
I think he twisted his right ankle just as he struck the ball. The way he landed, pulled up sharply, did Son. But better from Spurs at the start of the 2nd half. Ericsson becoming more prominent. Good interplay with Son. Didn't quite get the strike that he was hoping for.
Never want to make too much of a meal of any injuries, Son, so he's hobbling on for now. As I mentioned, he's set to be away for a good few weeks at the Asian Games with South Korea. It will be a blow that to lose him for Spurs. A tough start to this season. 3 of their first 4 games in the Premier League are away from home. Starting away at Newcastle. Won't be until the 15th of September until they move into their brand new home, the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's going to be some ground too. I know you've been there, Clive, and had a look at it.
Absolutely second to none. Will be one of the best stadiums in Europe, if not the world. No expense spared. It's going to be an absolutely incredible spectator experience.
Not just for our football, soccer, NFL's going to be there as well.
Yeah, multi-purpose stadium. Really exciting times in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
More alterations on the way here for Spurs. Anthony Georgiou is going to be coming off the bench. Also the keeper, Michel Vorm, replacing Paolo Gazzaniga. And also Lucas Moura departing here for Tottenham. Vorm, who signed a new contract with the club this summer. His 5th year since he was signed for Swansea, a regular deputy for Hugo Lloris. And Georgiou coming on, the Cypriot, who's just 21, when his debut in March for Cyprus. His senior Spurs debut came against Apoel of Cyprus in the Champions League last season.
And he's a young, exciting winger that Spurs have high hopes of.
There he is, putting some pressure on Malcolm. Cucurella's ball forward. It's Abel Ruiz, number 7 now, who is the focal point of the attack in the 2nd half of Barcelona.
You can just see, Joe, the way that Spurs have got more bodies in that midfield area. They're almost outnumbering Barcelona, something that they had to attempt at the beginning of the 2nd half to stop them dominating the tempo and possession in the game. You can see more white shirts in the Barcelona half as soon as they're in possession of the ball.
Aurier with the throw. Oh, that's a mistake there by Carter Vickers, but he got away with it.
Wasn't a good throw. It's one of those that's coming back towards the defender. He needs to be able to take a first touch with his feet. It bounces yards in front of him. All of a sudden, it's up around his midriff. Very, very difficult to deal with.
Malcolm hauled down from behind. As a player they were desperate to get. Evidently in the end, Barcelona. Malcolm, from what you've seen of him before at Bordeaux, is he a Barcelona-style player?
Yeah, I think he can be. He's quick. He's certainly devastating in the final third, a taker of chances. Oh, who wouldn't be wanting to come into a Barcelona team if you're a forward player? Might have to be take his time, just have to wait his chance on a regular basis, but what an opportunity for him.
Ericsson there was checked by Quensa. And I suppose Ousmane Dembele is ahead of him in the pecking order, perhaps, the young French winger. Or quick free kick there by Spurs. Ericsson finding Son. Son's done well. The ball did just squirm behind. There will be a goal kick.
Yeah, they're brighter Spurs this second half. Son and Ericsson combining on a couple of occasions. Very bright and alert there.
Being a couple of weeks further advanced in their pre-season preparations, maybe that will tell now in the second half for Spurs.
Yeah, and I think that's perhaps why Valverde has made so many changes, just the younger, fresh legs. And the opportunity to have a look as well at this early stage in Barcelona's preparations for the new season.
Well, they were 14 points clear of their nearest challengers at the end of last season in the Liga. Barcelona, it was Atletico Madrid, 17 points they were ahead of Real Madrid. They only lost one league game all season. It was their penultimate match away at Levante when they rested Messi and lost 5-4. An incredible game. Coutinho scoring a hat-trick in that match. They were just one goal short of scoring 100 goals. Here's Malcolm. Michel Vorm had to get down there pretty smartly to keep that ball at bay just about.
Well, his first shot from Malcolm, testing Vorm at his near post. Going on the outside onto his favoured left foot. Michel Vorm has to be sharp, dropping down to his near post. That's what he can do, Joe. Just a little turn of pace and explosive.
Malcolm with the corner. It was a good one too, and it was Quensa up from the back. He met it.
He'll be disappointed he hasn't got the header on target, because it's a good delivery, swinging away from the goal. As we see Malcolm again, this is what he does so well. Moves it quickly onto the outside of his left foot and fires in the shot.
Be a very exciting player. Another exciting player coming off the bench now for Barcelona, the 19-year-old Canadian Balou Tabla. He's a player that fans of MLS football will be aware of. He was signed in January from Montreal Impact. He's been playing for the B team in Barcelona since he was signed a few months ago. Here's Palencia. Now Collado. This is Monchi. Quensa.
You can just see the same pattern that these young Barcelona players are adopting. might not have the physical presence that the seniors have, but you can see exactly the same angles, the way that they pass and move. As you said, Joe, drilled into them from an early age. They all come in, they look comfortable and look accomplished.
Malcolm, that's been cut out well. And Kudu, what's a crunchy tackle. A yellow card for that, and rightly so. Kevin Stott, the referee, going to his pocket for the first time this evening. There was no debate about that. Monchu was with a tackle, and a deserved booking. Number 14 there for Barcelona.
Yeah, completely missed time. Kudu just towing that ball away from him as the challenge comes in. Rightly receiving a yellow card.
Player who was born in Palma on the island of Mallorca, and his B-team debut last December. So still Tabla waits for his arrival, and here he comes now, and he'll take the place of Carlos Perez, the winger, who was one of the first half substitutes for Barca. So a sub has been subbed. So still just over 20 minutes to go. Spurs still hoping to conjure some sort of comeback in what remains here. They have been better in the second half. Here's Aurier. Now Amos. Bit of time on the ball for him. Georgiou. Born in Lewisham in South London. It's a sloppy giveaway. Monchu, he's given it away to Amos. Now Eriksson. And Kudu didn't quite take the ball with him. Good defending by Oscar Mingueza. Skip. He's done well there, good turn of pace. The tackle came in. It's Palencia. It will be a free kick for Spurs.
Well, that's positive from Skip down the left-hand side, driving down the touchline, drawing the challenge, winning the free kick. Carter Vickers up, Sanchez up.
Well, could this be a route back into the game for Tottenham? Eriksson with the free kick, a good 1-2, and it flicks away for a corner. Came off Abel Ruiz. Set-piece pressure continues.
And as it is such a young Barcelona team now, you just wonder, should Spurs manage to find the net once? Could ask a question of them as this game wears on.
They find a chink in the armour here. Slipped away by Collado. The shot came in, blocked away though, and Spurs are all the way back at square one again. Carter Vickers. Davies. Here's Nkudu. Davies, energetic, good ball in two. And Eriksson's in there, fantastic block then Son. He's pulled one back. And it's game on now. Spurs back in it. Back to 2-1. And there's belief again here for them.
Well, they've made that pressure count, and it comes from pressing higher up the field. They work the ball down the left-hand side, and Kugu rolls the ball nicely into the path of Davies' first-time cross. It's not cleared by that young Barcelona defence, and when it pops out to Song, he's clinical in the way that he just side-foots the opportunity into the bottom corner.
Well, as you just said, maybe one back for Spurs could create some jitters for this young Barca team. We'll see if Spurs can build on this now. They're on the comeback trail once again at this year's International Champions Cup. A busy old summer, Son. A couple of goals out in Russia for South Korea. And he scored his first goal of this tournament now to put this fixture back in the balance again. Eriksson. And a very good second half. Georgie. Aurier overlapping. Aurier's ball in, nearly picked out Son. And Kudu was in there too for Spurs. Aurier, good ball, Son! Oh, and still maybe. Can he squeeze it in here? Oh, it's off the line, then turned in. It is 2-2. From 2 down, Spurs have leveled the game. And now it's their fans on their feet. Some match we have now, and Kudu it was in the end who thumped the ball over the goal line. 2 apiece.
Joe, I wonder whether Eriksson's strike actually crossed the line, but when it comes out and Kudu makes it absolutely positive that it's a Spurs equaliser. Son is scrappy, the pressure's on. Does that go in from... Oh, it's Georgia who's there with the left foot strike. As it pops back here, is it over the line? But Kudu, mate, doubly sure, smashing the equaliser into the roof of the net. And that pressure right from the beginning of the second half has told for Spurs on this young Barcelona side. That's a close call.
Yeah, Palencia on the goal line it is.
But then Kudu's there to make sure 2 apiece.
And here comes Spurs again. Serge Aurier. That's deflected. And it has Citizen scampering. It's a corner. It's one-way stuff now. And Barca really are rocking. George Kevin and Kudu given the goal. Full marks for Spurs' endeavour, commitment and fight in the second half. Here's Davies. It's behind Son, who may have been offside. It was a close one. So the quarter now to go here for Spurs to go on and win the game now.
Yeah, quite possibly. They've taken the initiative in this game in the second half. The tactical change that Mauricio Pochettino made has certainly paid dividends. Eriksson's become far more prominent. He's been instrumental. That's been everything good about Spurs' performance in the second period.
It would do wonders for their self-belief, albeit against a very youthful Barca team here, but to come from 2 down to win a game like this would be quite something for them.
Absolutely, and there is a sprinkling of young players in the Spurs side now as well, in the heart of that midfield in particular, Amos and Skip.
Davies. And Kudu. Didn't have the best of times at Burnley last season. Didn't really get a chance to establish himself there. He's popped up here with equalising goal tonight. There's Davies. Quenza. Just lost their flow now, Barcelona. Famous Spurs anthem rings around the Rose Bowl in Pasadena.
I think it was those Barcelona supporters in the first half that was enjoying what they were seeing. But for the Spurs faithful, much better in this second half.
Fantastic to see that the locals here members of the Tottenham fan base of the US enjoying the chance to watch their heroes play in this International Champions Cup. It's been a real show from them in the second half.
Apart from the one Malcolm attempt, Form coming in as a second half substitute, really has had nothing to do in that Spurs goal.
Collado. Mingueza. Palencia.
Pressure again, works well. Eriksson picking up the loose ball.
It's Georgiou. Now Carter Vickers. Might be 3 or 4 Spurs players who go through the entire 90 minutes here. Think of Son and Eriksson, Aurier, Carter Vickers. Here's Skip. Good run by the half-time sub. Son back to all Skip again. Quite the perfect pass he was hoping for. And Quenzer away.
Great determination from young Skip, driving forward. Full of confidence is this young man.
He was 17, remember. International under 18 level with England. He hails from Worthing Garden City.
Look at the difference in this second half, Joe. The number of white shirts that are in the final third of the field as Barcelona are trying to play out.
Here's Malcolm. It could be the danger man. Spurs have to be very careful to keep a close eye on. Oh, that's lovely. They're in again here, Barcelona. Malcolm. After a push there by Davies, there was no whistle. And the final effort was a fairly tame one from Ricky Puig.
Yeah, Malcolm just couldn't get set to fire off with that famous left foot that he has. You can see here, cuts inside, he's looking to try to get the shot. Davies, close attentions. Referee was having none of it. Perhaps Davies a little bit fortunate there not to concede a free kick.
So, 10 minutes to go. Game which is there to be won by both teams here. Reminder for you, if it is a draw at the end of the 90-minute mark, then we would go into a penalty shootout to determine the winner. We've seen plenty of those throughout this tournament over the past week or so. Georgiou. Aurier. Amos. Turned on by Son. Georgiou. Onto that favoured left foot. Eriksson's in there. And he got something on it too. And it forced a save from Sithersson.
It was a really clever ball from Georgiou and great run from Eriksson. Just a fraction too far in front of him. He couldn't quite cut the shot back past the keeper. You can see there just stretching. He can't get the shot on the ball that's needed just to arrow that shot past Sithersson.
Eriksson with the ball then. Oh, it was Davinson Sanchez. Not scored a senior goal so far for Tottenham. It really could go either way in these late stages now. Spurs looking more likely, and Georgiou, he's motoring away here. Clipped in towards Son.
Again, clever ball from Georgiou in behind that Barcelona defence. I think it's Quenzer who just gets a toe to it to force the ball back to his goalkeeper. But Spurs look the most likely.
There goes Malcolm, there's an offside flag up. Carter Vickers. Now Aurier. Here's Sanchez. Skip. Took a chance there. Was tackled, and now it's Malcolm trying to squeeze in, but Davies with the intervention. Eriksson has been outstanding after half-time. Kudu got the goal to make it 2-2. Skip. Georgie. Sanchez. Here's Skip. Amos. That's Som. Oh, nearly a good ball there to try and squeeze in Serge Aurier. Amos. Now Eriksson. It's going to go for goal here. Number 5 in the attacking white shirts.
Good pressing, recuperating the ball, giving Eriksson the opportunity to strike. He'll just be disappointed that he hasn't hit the target from that position.
See there, a bumper crowd inside the Rose Bowl tonight. Just short of 67,000. A wonderful attendance, as we see time and time again in this great tournament. And they've enjoyed a bit of a treat in the second half from Spurs after the first half masterclass from Barcelona.
Yep, an old adage, the game of two halves. That's what it's certainly been. Honours even at the moment. Are we still here for some drama? A winner within the 90 minutes.
Remember, in terms of the way this tournament is set up, it's 3 points for a win in normal time. You win in a shootout, it's a 2-point return for that. And the loser in the shootout gets 1 point as well. We might not go that far though yet. Barcelona with a chance here. It's a good run, and it's the side netting. Nearly, but not quite. Amos there just couldn't contend with the thrust from that wide position from Tabla.
Yeah, Tabla again trying to fire the shot in at the near post. Vorm had it covered. Amos just stumbling at a vital moment on the edge of the 18-yard box to give him the opportunity to shoot.
It's an open game now in these final stages. Ben Davies. Not the best pass, but he got the ball out wide then to Nkudu. He's beaten his man. Here's Son now. Skip. Amos there to be hit. It's a corner. Deflected. There'll be a few tired limbs out there now, but Spurs are digging deep. Can they pinch this here?
Joe, I just think the physicality that Spurs have, that little bit more experience, is just coming to the fore as this game's coming to an end.
Eriksson goes low. Son had to try and improvise there and just whip that back towards goal again. Tough chance.
They've really combined well this second half, Song and Eriksson. He tries to find him with a low corner towards the corner of the 6-yard box. Song's just trying to help that on. Actually scoops it in the end, which lifts it high over the bar.
Here's Cucurella. It's been gifted back to Tottenham straight away. Eriksson, great touch by him. Georgie. He's a promising player, isn't he? Georgie going on. Opted to shoot, blocked away by Cucurella. Davies for Nkudu. 4 by Palencia. Sanchez there was strong, and Skip goes back to Michel Vorm.
Joe, I bet a lot of these young Barca players have not played in a game where they've had so little possession in this second half. Very uncharacteristic for them to be chasing the ball, trying to win it back in the way that they are now.
Aurier, good ball back for Som. Oh, and Som could be it now. Chance here to win it, maybe. But it's an excellent covering tackle, and it had to be as well. Really well timed.
Palencia coming in from that right back position.
Good finish here. Collado. Skip with the tackle.
Excellent again.
He's been good, hasn't he? Really good.
He's been very impressive. And as you say, 17 years of age.
Well, that's given away by Nkudu. Malcolm. Abel Ruiz. It's been forced wide by Carter Vickers. Collado. Now Monchi. This is Puig. And Cucurella. Any goal now would surely be a winning goal. We're heading towards just 1 minute of additional time at the end of the 90 minutes. That's a good ball to Cucurella. He's got some space here. They couldn't pick out a man there before, waiting. Still Barca attacking. Dangled out towards Palencia, but Nkudu did well. Into added time now, so 1 more minute to see if there'll be a winner in regulation time. Oh, that pass was just behind Ruiz. May have been offside had the ball come his way.
Yeah, Puig trying to find the run of Ruiz. Little rally at the end of this game from this young Barcelona side, trying to win it in normal time.
To perhaps a fair reflection of the game we've seen.
Yeah, as we said, a game of two halves. Barcelona dominated in the first period, but good response from Spurs in the second half.
Davies with the throw. It's come to Son. They're not done yet here, Tottenham. Son, it was low. It was a pretty routine save for Siderson. And that is the end of the 90 minutes. And it ends 2-2 in California. And applause all around here because it was a terrific game to enjoy. 2 first half goals to Barca, level by 2 for Spurs after the break from Som and then Nkudu. Spurs were pushing on for a winning goal to complete the comeback. It didn't quite arrive for them. And now to see who will win this match, we are heading for a shootout after a 2-2 draw at the end of normal time.